gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good morning, CaneSport. It's June the 3rd, 2022. I'm Gary Ferman, the publisher of CaneSport.com, joined as always by our managing editor, Matt Shodell, as we discuss the news of the day, presented as always by LifeWallet, where the time is now to take charge of your personal health. And Matt, the time is now to go buy an umbrella, okay? Because there's all types of big plans for this weekend at the U. You got the baseball regional, you got Mario Cristobal camps, you got official visitors, and it's all potentially going to get washed out. And here's why. There's a storm brewing. I'll just pull it up here on the map. I'll pull the map up here. And there's a storm coming through the Gulf of Mexico that is going to pummel South Florida with rain starting Saturday afternoon. So the question is, they're moving the regional games up today just to try to get ahead of schedule. And I'm guessing that they might try to do the same thing Saturday morning to get the games in before the rains set in on Saturday afternoon. Now, what will happen with the Mario Cristobal camp? Potentially, they might try to make it a go on Saturday morning. I think that they're still monitoring the weather. They had a full slate of 7-on-7 games that were supposed to take place on Saturday. The question is, what teams will still want to come out and play and compete, and how many games they have to try to work in on Saturday morning. Will they be able to fit in the offensive line, defensive line camp on Saturday morning before the weather sets in? So all these issues, Matt Shodell, are coming into play with this big weekend approaching. It's a little bit of a dampener, isn't it?
Yeah, good one. I talked to one of the high-profile high school coaches who's supposed to be out there. I talked to a couple of the coaches, and one of them was like, "I don't really want to play if it's wet. Somebody twists their ankle, they're out for 6 weeks when they should be training. It's not worth it."
No,
and it's just not ideal. It's just not ideal. And you can only do so much when Mother Nature does this. It's supposed to rain pretty much all day today, and I doubt they'll get a single baseball game in. I doubt they'll get a single baseball game in on Saturday, at least based on what I've seen from the storm track and the projections for the rain. Sunday is supposed to start clearing up, so maybe they get some games, a couple of games in Sunday if they're lucky, a couple of games in on Monday. I don't know.
Monday maybe, yeah.
It's not, if you get pushed to Monday, Tuesday, it's terrible because now you've used your pitchers on Tuesday and you have a game on Friday and you can't pitch guys on 2 days rest. Even with games on Saturday, 3 days rest. So, I understand the guy on Tuesday would be pitching probably on Sunday, but still, you get the point. You don't want to have your pitchers on short rest, 4 days, 3 days, whatever. Not ideal. Not ideal for Mario Cristobal. Not ideal for anybody except ducks and maybe some lizards and various waterfowl.
Stone crabs?
Not good for stone crabs.
They're well hidden.
I know you don't know much about stone crabs, Gary. They live on the bottom of the water.
Yeah, they live on the bottom. I know.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
I don't think you're kidding.
And they're well protected these days. I just figured I'd throw that little dig in there. But yeah, so we'll be monitoring the weather. Stay tuned on the message boards all day. We'll be giving you updates on what's going on, what's going to take place, what's not going to take place, and go from there on that. All right, so a bunch of recruiting content, good recruiting content on the site today. And really good story about an official visitor this weekend by the name, and God, I hope I get the name right. Correct me, please, Matt, if I don't. Olaus Alinen.
Good for you. That's perfect.
I got it right.
Olaus Alinen. Olaus is the hard part. Very impressed.
Olaus Alinen. Okay. He's a big offensive lineman. He's really good. His visit list is after Miami is Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State. Okay. But I want you guys to notice something before we give you the details of this. Notice that Miami is in the mix. They're battling it out for one of the top players in the country at that position. and they are going toe-to-toe with the kingpins of college football. And I have been calling for this, Matt Shodell, for years, and people have heard me saying they're taking the easy way out in recruiting. They're not even trying against the top kids in the country. That's why this roster is not good enough. That's why nobody's getting drafted on draft day. That's why the picture has been so bleak. Mario Cristobal and staff, they're getting in there with their boxing gloves on. They're going toe-to-toe, and Olaus is just one of many recruits that they are competing for. So, Matt, I want you to comment on that, but let me just tell the story real quick about his trip. So he arrived yesterday in South Florida. His parents are flying in from Finland to meet him and participate in this official visit. Their flight was delayed. So maybe they'll arrive this morning sometime.
It was delayed. I think they arrived last night, but it was delayed a little bit out of New York. But no, last I heard from him, they were supposed to arrive.
So you think they would have arrived late last night?
They're supposed to arrive late. That's what I was told. They're supposed to arrive late last night. Now I wasn't going to text him at 11 p.m. Like, hey, did your family get here?
If everything went well late last night, it could have come into the wee hours of the morning. Okay, because the way these flights have been going. The bottom line is they're going to be tired this morning when it's time to go to the U. But the good news is they have rearranged their travel schedule, and they are planning potentially to spend the entire week in South Florida before they go to Alabama for a visit next weekend. So that's a great sign for Mario Cristobal, for Alex Mirabal, from Miami's offensive line recruiting in general, that they could get a whole week of FaceTime with this family. They'll do the official visit this weekend, and then they can visit unofficially during the week. Thought that was a great development in recruiting, Matt. So just the whole thing in general, the pursuit of Olaus Alanen, the fact that Miami is slugging it out with the best teams in college football for elite players, I see it all as a win-win-win-win-win.
Yeah, he's one of 3 official visitors this weekend, and you can't win if you don't try. And some of the past coaching staffs just didn't try. We sort of rank one of the front page stories you guys can check out with all 3 of the official visitors. Is we sort of rank the chances with each of them from our perspective heading into the visit, and you're going to see we're not saying medium or medium high. We're saying medium low or low, and that's okay. This is the weekend you want to just swing for the fences. It's the first visit weekend in June. The teams that have the best chances with recruits generally will say, hey, we want your last visit before you announce. A lot of these kids are announcing before the season, including Olaus. You want that last memory to be of your school. So this is why Miami doesn't have a lot of visitors this weekend, just 3 official visitors this weekend, 3. And, because Miami wants that last weekend in June, before the dead period, to be their big weekend. Any kid that they can get to come that last weekend that's their preference, So they have 3 this weekend. They have those. You guys can go to our message boards. Where they got, I think, 7 coming next weekend, 5 the weekend after that, and then that final weekend they got 5 to 10 and counting. So and there'll be some more added, I believe, to that final weekend, that Legends Camp weekend. So it's a very, very important June. But fans shouldn't freak out after the first weekend when there's no commitments from any of these official visitors. Like, that's not the purpose. The purpose is, hey, we're in the game. Hey, come see our program. Hey, maybe you'll hate Alabama and Ohio State and Georgia, and we have a chance. So you never know until you never know until you try. The kid's never been to Miami before, has never even met Mario Cristobal face-to-face before. So it's important to at least give it a shot.
Yeah, and, it's like, everyone goes through the exercise, ranking chances, making predictions, crystal balls, forecasts, prediction machines. Everybody's got them now. But the truth of the matter is, until Mario Cristobal gets FaceTime with a recruit and gets to actually sit down with he and his family and go through the process and lay out the plan and all that, it's very difficult to really rate his chances of winning in the end. And to me, it's a matter of just get in the game, be in the mix for these best players in the country. That's step 1. Step 2 is getting them to come here, but that'll come. That will come in time. Even if it doesn't happen in droves in this recruiting cycle, because it's the first real recruiting cycle, they got to win. They got to prove themselves a little bit. It will progressively, in my opinion, start to come.
Listen, I don't, I never disagree with you, but
Tell me you
generally,
disagree with that.
when we've looked at Al Golden, Randy Shannon, Mark Richt, and Manny Diaz, in retrospect, their best classes were the first year, because you can sell, you're my guy. I'm inheriting all these players. You're my guy. We want you. You will play right away.
Good point.
So that's generally what the trend has been, other than Manny Diaz having the one COVID year, obviously, to help him out because kids couldn't take visits. That would not have been as good a class. James Williams probably would have wound up at Georgia. Thaddeus Franklin probably would have wound up at FSU, and they would have lost some other guys too. In my opinion, that's not a fact. That's just what I believe would have happened.
I won't argue with you on those statements.
So I think there's no reason why Mario can't have a huge class. And you know what? Alabama, Georgia, and Ohio State can't take every recruit in the country. A lot of these rosters are bloated. So if they take 15 or 20 top recruits each, 60 recruits, if we're getting 61 through 81, in the nation, I'll take it. I don't mind.
Well, they're going to shoot higher than that. I love it.
They're going to shoot higher than 20 kids in the top 100, Gary? Okay.
They're going to shoot. They're going to shoot for the best of the best. They're not going to shoot for middle of the pack. They're going to go after.
I mean land, not shoot for. I'm talking about landing kids, actually getting them.
Let's let them go through the cycle.
You get 20 kids in the top 100. I'm pretty happy with that.
Oh well, that's not happening.
I know, but that's what I just said, and you're like, whatever.
But I do think that they will get some of these guys, and maybe some that people don't think they're going to get. We'll see. All right, so we've got the story on Olaf Alanen's visit this weekend and this week. That's a good one. Also want to draw your attention to another story we have on Peyton Kirkland. He's the big offensive lineman from Central Florida that everybody in the country wants. And he has set his 5 official visits: Oklahoma, Florida, Michigan State, Miami, and then Alabama will get the last visit. And, he may come to Miami. He may not. He may go to Alabama. Who knows? Maybe he goes to Florida. But when we talked to Kirkland, one thing that he kind of made clear is he wishes Miami fans would, get off his case a little bit. He feels like, every time somebody puts out something that seems to suggest that he might go somewhere else, he gets assaulted by Miami fans. Matt, is that a legit gripe? Not a legit gripe? And is that impacting his recruitment at all?
I don't like you steering the conversation. I'm going to start with what I want to talk about.
Go ahead.
I'm going to.
Just make it pertain to Peyton Kirkland, please.
I was taking a breath. You don't need to interject. I'm taking a breath.
Focus.
Peyton Kirkland is a 7.7 on the Matt Shodell Richter scale of favorite recruits. Excellent guy. Love talking to him. He and I have a great rapport. And when we were talking yesterday, and listen, he's got his phone's ringing off the hook. I mean, he made the point yesterday. He's been getting recruited since 8th grade. He's sick of saying the same stuff all over again to everybody. And I'm like, "Are you talking about me?" And he's like, no. He's like, the recruiters and the coaches, whatever. And he says to me, he says, are you going to come to my announcement? I said, Peyton, you're in Orlando. I said, listen. I said, if I know you guys do the hat thing. He's announcing July, 23rd, I guess, with Malik Bryant. I said, listen, I know you guys do the hat thing. I said, I know what you do. You put a hat on, you throw it off. You put a hat on, you throw it off, then you take one from under the table, and that's where you're going. I said, if you're going to take the Miami hat and put it on, and then when you throw that one off, if you throw it right to me, and you promise you're going to throw it actually to me, then I'll go. He says, I'll throw it to you. So now I got stuck. I got to go to Orlando for this freaking announcement where he's probably not even going to come to Miami. So I'm very upset. I was hoping he'd say, no, I'm not going to throw you the hat, Matt. I'm keeping the hat. So now I'm stuck going there. Now that I've said that, to your point, I was like, our interview was over. We talked for a while. We were joking around about the hat stuff. And like at the end, he's just like starts talking about Miami fans. And he's like, have you seen the retweets and the Miami fans? He's like, we got a love-hate relationship. I'm like, look, I mean, I'm not the youngest guy where I go onto his retweets or whatever. And I'm like, I hadn't really been paying attention. He's like, oh, he says, it's toxic. He says, it's pretty toxic. Me and Miami fans.
He's a nice kid.
Yeah, nice kid. Nice kid. I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, go on my retweets and look, which of course I have not done because I'm a great reporter. I would never do something like that. But apparently some Miami fans out there are causing some havoc, I guess, when he seems like he's not coming to Miami or he's leaning elsewhere. I don't know what you people out there in the YouTube verse are doing, but stop doing it to Peyton Kirkland. He's a, what did I say, 7.8 on the Shodell Richter scale? He's a nice guy. Like, cut him some slack, man. Recruits are going to go somewhere. They're not all going to come to Miami. And if they go somewhere else, it's okay every once in a while to wish them well, unless they throw their Miami hat to some other reporter and not to Matt Shodell. Then I would be upset, and I would encourage you all to blow up his Twitter feed if he throws his Miami hat to some other loser reporter in that Orlando room come July 23rd.
Well, like I said, he's a nice kid, and he deserves love. You know, I mean,
He does.
Everybody wants him. I mean, he can go wherever he wants, and you can't knock the kid for going through the process. And he's going to pick one school, and the rest are going to be unhappy, and that's just the bottom line. And I know Mario Cristobal's in there battling, like, you know, with everybody else. Another similar story to Olaus Salonen. I mean, quite frankly, he's in the ring, you know, just battling it out every single day. So we'll see.
These are the guys you need. These are the guys you need to win championships. Like, you look at Peyton Kirkland, and he could be a tackle, but people also say he could be a guard. He's versatile enough, you know.
Yeah.
And you look at him, and he just looks. You know, we've covered this Miami Hurricanes team forever, and we were at spring practice. I'm telling you right now, Peyton Kirkland would be the most physically dominating looking offensive lineman.
Yes.
On the Miami Hurricanes team right now. The kid's in high school.
Yeah, and he plays it like it too. I watched him live, and you know, yeah, he looks the part. He plays the part. He would be a great part of this class. So we'll see what happens. What we know right now is that on July the 23rd, you know, a date that is approaching, not there yet, obviously. He and a linebacker from the area, Malik Bryant, are planning on announcing their commitments together. And Bryant's got Miami high on his radar as well. So we'll continue to monitor that one.
And Gary, you think they're both coming to Miami, right? Everyone's coming to Miami, right?
No, I'm not going to say that. I think there's a chance they both come to Miami.
That means not coming. You just dashed everyone's hopes out there, Gary.
I mean, I think there's a chance, and you know, they'll put on the show on the 23rd, and we'll see.
Why are you so negative, bro? What happened to you?
What, I used to be negative? No. I was only negative when we had imposters in the football offices at this school. Not mentioning any names. Now, this program is being run like a first-class machine. I love every bit of it, and I'm going to be as positive as I can be, unless there's a reason to be negative about a certain individual circumstance. But I feel very good about what's going on. Okay?
It's not hard. I've talked to so many people in the last few months that just like are, you know, I don't know if they wanted to talk, they don't want to talk about it at the time, but just stuff about Manny, whatever his name is. I can't say it. You won't let me say it. But about him and his staff, he who can't be named in his staff, that just like you just go, what? Like, really?
Yeah.
Like, they didn't even try to recruit these kids? Like, people who everyone out there thought was being recruited by Miami, even myself, they weren't actually being recruited by Miami. Miami coaches just like gave up. You know,
how about Ray commit to Clemson without even trying to recruit him? How about that?
I'm talking about kids in last year's class that signed elsewhere.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, it's been endless. I mean, didn't even try to recruit him. So things are better now, everybody. I think we consistently have told you that, and it's the truth. All right, so Kirkland, July 23rd, circle that on your calendar. That'll be a big announcement. Got a couple more we want to talk about, but first let's hear from our friends at LifeWallet.
We here at LifeWallet take security very seriously. Our data security team is working constantly to make sure that your data is not accessed by anybody who you don't authorize.
Hey, what's up, man?
Yeah, I'm
Excuse me, sir. Thank you.
I have from CC, and he's thinking about it, and I'll be talking to CC. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
We use leading technology standards like biometric data to make sure that only you have access to your data and your identity is protected. Life Wallet gives you access to your entire medical history and information at the touch of your finger, so that it can save you time and can save your life.
Data transfer complete.
All right, a couple other things on the radar today to talk about. Fort Lauderdale Dillard running back Chris Johnson. We've told you before on this show, you still got that COVID scratch?
Whatever.
Oh, jeez. All right. Well, it's distracting. I mean, I was on a roll here talking about Chris Johnson, and you go, I mean, like, come on, man. Give me a break. Come on. All right. Chris Johnson, Fort Lauderdale Dillard. We'll try this again. We've been telling you on the show and on the website how actively Miami has been recruiting him. He's a speed back. They want him in the class, okay? And the Canes lead by a lot. But Matt, that said, he's making it pretty clear that a decision is not imminent. So if the Canes are far ahead, why not just commit?
The Canes are far ahead because he hasn't seen anybody else. He's going to Texas A&M. He's going to North Carolina. He's going to go to Rutgers. Because Rutgers is just an amazing. I don't know why he's going to Rutgers.
He wants to go to New York.
I guess I've been recruiting him for a while, but the point is, he's doing it the right way. In the past, we've seen this type of player, from the area, loves the Hurricanes, dad's a big fan, commit, and then go on these visits anyway and wind up decommitting. And in the meantime, maybe Miami's lost out on some other running backs. So I'm glad he's taking his time. I got no problem with people taking their time, especially with NIL involved now. It doesn't bother me. I want Miami coaches to know when they get a commitment, they feel pretty good about it. And while Miami says number one and there is no number two, which makes you think, okay, that's a pretty good sign. He's going to wait till pretty close to signing day, and maybe Miami before then will get Cedric Baxter or somebody else, and it'll be moot. I mean, how many times have we seen where players commit, and only to open it up again or whatever? I mean, this is a funny story. I'm trying to remember who it was. There was a receiver probably 15 years ago, and I used to have a home phone line. Now I just call my cell phone to recruits. But
nobody has a home phone line anymore, do they?
Well, it's a home phone, but it was my office phone. But it was a home, it was a house phone.
Anybody that has a home phone, phone.
Yeah, I don't. But this was so many years ago.
Yeah.
And whoever this prospect was, I wish I could remember his name. Gosh, but he calls me, and he just got an offer like 3 weeks earlier from Miami, and they said, if you want to commit, you got a spot right now, And 3 weeks later, he calls me, and he says, "Hey, coach, I want to commit." To which I replied, "This isn't a coach."
we get this a lot, everybody. Yeah.
I
get great messages every day. Everybody thinks we're coaches.
I said, "That's great news." I said, "Here's who you want to call," and I said, "I'll give you a call later on and just check in and see how it went, whatever." And of course, we don't write the story because you got to make sure that it actually happened. You're not going to write a commitment story until it's done. So as it turns out, he could have committed 3 weeks earlier and they would have taken him. At that point, they said, "No, we're good." Just 3 weeks later. So things don't only change on a recruit's end, they can also change on the college's end, obviously, which everyone knows, but that's just a funny example of it. And he actually wound up at a very minor program. If I can remember who it was, I remember the program. But it was not a Power 5, what we call a Power 5 program. I just can't remember which one. And, that I can't remember where this tangent came from or where it's going, but basically for somebody like this to not commit is okay with me. I don't mind. There's nothing wrong with saying they're a clear front runner, because guess what? Soft commit and clear front runner to me are the same thing. It's like, an Entenmann's cookies or a Freihofer's cookie. Some people say they're different. I think they're pretty much the same.
What are those initials you use for your daily rant?
Do not resuscitate, DNR.
DNR. Okay.
Yeah.
DNR daily rant.
Daily negative rant. Daily negative
Miami
rant.
didn't want him so badly.
Wait, are you stealing my DNR? You make your own, Ferman.
No, listen.
No.
If Miami didn't want him so bad,
Gary Ferman rant. You're a GFR. You're not stealing my DNR.
I'm getting ready to do a Gary Ferman rant.
Good. But GFR.
But if Miami didn't want him so badly, and I didn't want to make and I didn't want to make sure I don't make waves in that, of course, I would rant, because I would say if Miami's way out in front, commit to the Canes, the hometown school. Let's get this recruiting class rolling a little bit, okay? It's like they're in all over the place with great players. They need commits, Matt Shodell. So anyway, But that
I
takes.
just said they don't need commits. This is the same thing as a commit. He's going to take visits. What's the difference? He's being honest.
When you're going to Texas A&M, it's a big difference.
You just want to see the rankings move up.
Because contrary to what Jimbo, Pinocchio, Fisher
he's going to visit there anyway, whether he's committed or not. That's the problem.
He claims that none of his recruits get NIL deals and stuff. I mean, are you kidding me? They are the NIL capital of the world over there in College Station. Okay. Listen, Chris Johnson going to visit Texas A&M to me is a big deal. But we'll let him go through the process. Hopefully he becomes a Cane. All right.
That was your rant?
About. No, this one I am going to rant about.
It's not a good rant. Okay, go do a good rant.
Okay.
Your face is a little red right now. It's got to get a lot redder. Okay.
That's the lighting. I don't know.
Well, if you're going to do a rant, you got to get worked up about it, you know?
Right.
There you go. There you go.
I'm going to rant. Okay. Rivals 100 offensive tackle.
I already screwed up the rant. I already lost. Is it the Rivals 100 or the Rivals 250? I'm very confused.
It's 100. He's an offensive tackle. Samson Okinola. Okay. He puts out a top 9. Okay. A top 9. All right. Samson, listen, dude. Like, we'll give you all the publicity you want. Your top 100 recruit, an offensive lineman, pet position of the head coach, and his right-hand lieutenant, Alex Mirabal. Recruiting offensive lineman is huge at Miami. But what is the point of putting out a top 9? Why don't you just wait till you at least have it to 5 and then put it out? Those graphics, those top 9 graphics, they're so overcrowded with logos and that nobody's really paying attention to it anyway. Matt, I think recruits should have to be down to 5 before they get media attention and they get graphics made for them. Your thoughts?
My thought is I will never criticize somebody named Samson, so I am not going to weigh in on this. It's your rant. You enjoy it.
All right. Well, they should have to be down to at least 5. Like all these graphics people.
You don't understand how recruiting works.
I've only been covering it for 40 years. I think
obviously you don't, because I've had kids tell me I'm going to do a top 20, I'm going to do a top 12.
I don't like it.
That's what about the kids who say? What about the kids? I say
it's an attention whore.
I say to some kids, what are the chances you'll be a Hurricane? 72.8%. Like, these are the answers you get sometimes. There was a kid who told me that he was.
You know why? Because the On3 recruiting prediction machine now breaks it down into the.
Yeah, great. Well, this was from 5 years ago. There's a kid who had Alaska, who kept telling people Alaska State was in his final 5, and they don't even have a team. So, top 9 is just par for the course. Why 9? Why 8? Why 10? Why 7? The whole thing is so ridiculous to me. But I agree with you. And there's kids who tell me now they don't even going to name any favorites. They're just going to announce, which I think is maybe the way to do it, because they have a top 10, then they add another team now to top 11. They go backwards, right? They're trying to narrow it down. They just get a new offer. Oh, now it's a top 11. Oh, wait, now it's a top 13. So, yeah, I understand what you're saying. I think it is ridiculous to ever have a top list because they're always changing until you do official visits. Your top list is your official visits, because if you're serious about a program, you're going to take an official visit.
How many official visits?
The hometown team, and then you could add that one in also if you're going to unofficially visit. That's all.
How many they take? How many officials they take?
5.
Right. That's my point. No graphics. I am proposing that the graphic designers out there that make all these edits refuse to do their work unless it's down to 5 teams.
That's a great idea.
All you guys, Hayes Fawcett, Joe Timpton, everybody that's doing these graphics, hear me out. If it's not down to 5, refuse to make the graphics. Let's change the recruiting industry. No more attention. Guys, I don't want to. I used the word attention whores a minute ago. I'm trying to come up with a better word. Attention. Help me.
Attention deficit disorder is something I think that one of us may have.
No. If you're putting out a top 9, you are begging for attention. Okay, I'll say it that way. Okay, no more of that. Got to be top 5. All right, man.
See, I by the way, it's me who has the ADD because I haven't been paying attention to anything you've been saying. I just lost whatever you were saying. I'm just like,
we have an audience. If they haven't started the show off yet, we have an audience. They've been listening. I know they agree with me. They're sick of top 9s also. They want to see top 5, top 4, top 3, top 2. we're cool with that. But like top 9, I can't even absorb all the graphics that are on the edits. All right.
Let me tell you, there are some schools where they put,
You're just rattled because I had a rant today instead of you.
It's a little annoying, quite honestly. I mean, just leave the rants to me. Not to make myself sound like an idiot, but some of these, like, you have to know every single logo of every program in the country.
Correct.
To know what some of these top 20s are, or top 15s, or top 10s.
Yes.
It's like ridiculous. Like, I don't live on the West Coast. I don't know some of these tiny little programs that these people are putting in their top list, and then you got to somehow figure it out. I mean, it's like a mystery.
Now, how many people? We have several thousand people watching this show this morning. How many do you think know if you put up an edit with 9 logos? How many do you think know what all those 9 logos stand for? Not many, I guarantee.
If it's a mid-level recruit, probably not. But if it's a major recruit, of course. I mean, you're going to know the top programs. I mean, it's not that hard. But when you get into, I mean, I don't want to start making schools sound bad by naming them, but you know what schools they are. Like when you look at a conference, and then you look at the bottom 5 teams perennially in that conference, you don't really necessarily know all those logos, especially in some of the smaller conferences. So
I don't have time to go look for his graphic right now, but I'm telling you.
And if I was going to do a DNR today, by the way, it would be about you doing a GFR, because I started it. It's like you're stealing from another journalist person. You're like taking my ideas. It's plagiarism, quite frankly, Gary. Total plagiarism. You even tried to do DNR. You asked what my saying is, what I made up. You're trying to do your own DNR, which is my phrase. That's my catchphrase. That's my life's work as a DNR. My entire life is based on DNRs. That's it. Negative stuff. I thrive on the negativity because once you're negative, everything is just positive from there. I mean, you can only go up from the bottom. So stop stealing my material.
I would tell you to keep ranting and talking, but I can't find that graphic. I would love to put it up on the screen, but anyway, to me 9 is too many. I hope that guys can start limiting it to top 5s. We're down for that. All right, that's going to do it for today for Good Morning CaneSport. We thank you so much, obviously, for starting your day with us. Happy Friday. If you're in South Florida, just stay indoors. It's going to be raining the whole weekend. You can watch Good Morning CaneSport Classics. You can do.
We should do that. We should do a best of
our shows for the last few weeks or something.
You know what? You really should do a best of Good Morning CaneSport. Just like
Good Morning CaneSport,
like me cutting alligators off my shirt. You running the stone crab lady out to my front door. Strolling around on that little sidewalk thing. Yeah, just the highlights. Oh God, that was yeah.
Yeah, there she is, man.
I still can't believe you got your wife to do that. That's unbelievable.
We'll have we got some better stuff, video content coming in July. We're gonna
really?
announce. Yeah, we really do.
You sure?
Yes, we've been producing it.
I've heard some rumors about that. I can't wait to see it.
It's really good. We'll be announcing it in the next few weeks. We'll have it in July. That will be worth instant classics, I promise you. For rainy weekends, it's going to be really good stuff. But anyway, for now, we're out of here. Have a great day. For Matt Shodell, I'm Gary Ferman. We thank you for joining us. I guess we'll be back on Monday with the next Good Morning CaneSport. Have a great weekend, everybody.